A Brooklyn actor was arrested for killing his mom on Tuesday morning, and cops say he used a sword to do it. 55-year-old Yannick Bria was found in her apartment at 501 Park Place in Brooklyn at 2 a.m. Cops say her son, Michael, an actor, stabbed her to death with a sword he received in a Masonic ceremony. Police took Bria, who's appeared on such TV shows as Ugly Betty, to Kings County Hospital for psychiatric evaluation. This is Brian Stillman with the New York Post.
This coming. Couldn't see him coming at all.
Neighbors on Park Place are in shock after what happened Tuesday morning in their apartment building. A woman is dead, killed with a samurai sword. The suspect is her son.
They had a close relationship. Him and his mother get along very well.
But police say 31-year-old Michael Bria snapped for some reason and used the sword on his mother, 55-year-old Yannick Bria.
I heard a shriek, someone yelling like, ah, and then after that, it was probably like a help me, and then probably not 5 minutes after that, the sound went away.
Merlin Bentley lives upstairs with his mother, who called 911. When police arrived, he says he could hear Bria inside chanting and reading out loud, possibly from the Bible.
He kept, repeating words like Moses, Jerusalem, and then, the grand architect of the universe.
Neighbors say police arrived at the building quickly, but they question how long it took them to actually enter the apartment, despite allegedly getting permission from the landlords to break the door down.
They didn't follow through with that.
For how long?
For about 45 minutes.
And do you think that would have made a difference?
It would have made a difference. I think it made a big difference. I think Ms. Bria would still be here.
A spokesperson for the NYPD could not confirm the amount of time it took for officers to enter the apartment, but Police Commissioner Ray Kelly said they acted properly.
When there is a barricade situation, responding patrol officers, if possible, wait for emergency service officers to come.
When they did enter, police say they found Bria, an aspiring actor, sitting in a chair holding a Bible with the sword in his hand. Hours later, his twin brother arrived to weep with friends and family, while neighbors continue to wonder what could have caused such an unexpected act.
It's still mind-boggling because I don't think Michael was capable of doing that, but then again, who knows? Buttons get pushed and people snap.
In Prospect Heights, Tara Lynn Wag.
All right, peace, y'all. Peace. So in this video, we're going to be talking about sitcom actors, right? And the mysteriousness that surrounds their demise. Now, some of these stories, I will say, is not about all individuals passing away, but some of them will be kind of sketchy, if that makes sense. All right, so the first person we're going to talk about is Michael Bria. All right, he was an actor on the TV show Ugly Betty. All right, now I told y'all this story before, but there's a lot of information that I wasn't able to put out there, okay, due to majority of it being scrubbed off the internet. Now, I searched as much as I could to find the interview of Michael Bria's father, whose picture is nowhere to be found on the internet, right? But apparently, the story goes that Michael Bria, who was the actor in the TV show Ugly Betty, his father had gifted him a Freemasonic sword. And once he gifted him this sword, Michael Bria was not the same since. I believe he went up to a certain degree or level or whatever they call it, and he became initiated into Freemasonry. Now, I'm just going to read this article. This is from Michael Bria's father. Now it says, my son is not a violent person. He's a peaceful person, he said. My son would have done anything for his mother. I don't know what happened, he added. My son did not kill his mother. The elder Bria said his son, a Freemason, had attended a Freemasons meeting at a Masonic lodge in Harlem on the day of the incident. On the day of. He said he later received a phone call from his son complaining of a headache. The elder Bria, who is also a Freemason, said he told his son just hours before the incident occurred to say your prayers and lay in your bed and your headache will go away. Neighbors said the police arrived at the building quickly following reports of a disturbance, but questioned how long it took the authorities to actually enter the apartment. Now, what's so weird about that is that how anytime NYPD wants you or there's something going on, they can always kick the door in. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't even matter if there's a barricade. They're going to call SWAT or the marshals to come and get you out that crib. Now, when I see stuff like this, it just let me know, okay, like there was a bigger plan for somebody else. Like I said, like, now it doesn't have to mean that the father possibly could have leveled up, or somebody in Hollywood, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe a director of the show Ugly Betty, or a co-star. Somebody befriended this guy, all right, and put him under a trance. Now, there is stories of that. The mother was involved in religious practices such as voodoo, right? And she was boiling some chickens on the stove that she had previously, I believe, sacrificed. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, this is when that whole situation happened. So I'm not believing the story. It sounds like a Freemason sacrifice, and this is why you got to be very careful when people go and join these things. Not all Freemasons do this. Let's be clear here. But there are some lodges that participate in these sacrifices or rituals because maybe they worship a certain deity there behind the scenes. Like, you know, a new initiate will not know what really goes on up there because the higher ups, they don't tell them everything. They can't trust you because they know if you do find out, you may not ever come back to that place. So for this reason, that's why they keep a lot of secrets from each other. You know what I'm saying? But this was a sad situation and kind of odd. But I did want to talk about this. Now, the next person I'm going to talk about is going to be Merlin Santana. Now, Merlin Santana, who was a child star actor, he started off on television shows like The Cosby Show. Also, he was in Moesha for a little while, and then he had a lead role on The Steve Harvey Show. Now, a lot of people know the story behind Merlin Santana and what happened, and I'll break it down for y'all very briefly. All right, so apparently after The Steve Harvey Show ended, which was in February 17th, 2002, all right, just a few months after that, Merlin Santana lost his life. Okay, now he died in, I think it was November of 2022. So Steve Harvey Show ended February. He died in November. All right, now there are no pictures of Merlin Santana along with Steve Harvey. Okay, Steve Harvey, I believe he kept himself very separate from a lot of the cast members that were on the television show, right? Now, the story goes was that Merlin was having a hard time in Hollywood trying to find roles, all right? He was having a really hard time after the Steve Harvey Show and couldn't outlive that whole Romeo stereotype or typecast, right? And he had joined the Crips. Okay, he joined the Crips in Los Angeles. I don't know what set, but, you know, he was hanging out with some Crip guys out there. And he found himself going to a house party. Now, this is when it got bad for him because you Romeo off the Steve Harvey Show, dog. I get it. You wanted to indulge with groupie activity, but it was a bad idea for him to do this. Now, when he went to the house party, I believe there was a 15-year-old girl there, all right, and accused Merlin Santana of making sexual advances at her, all right? Now, if I know better, right, which comes to find out the young lady lied and said that that never happened, and she's been charged as well, right? But the two individuals went and retaliated and shot Merlin Santana in the head. Now, some people may say, yo, Steve Harvey may have had something to do with it. You know, he may have sacrificed Romeo to level up. And that could be possibly true because, you know, Steve Harvey's career seemed to go upward after Romeo's death, right? Now, like I said, you don't really see too many pictures with Steve Harvey and his cast members that was on that show, all right? But you do have to pay very close attention to the person's career afterwards. When someone dies on their TV show or they don't make a statement about it, this is a clear indication that they may have had some dealings in this. And the story can just make it can go any way possible. Oh yeah, he was hanging out with the wrong crowd and somebody shot him, right? But you know, who sent the young girl? Okay, who sent the two shooters? All right, these are things that are left out of the equation, and most people don't talk about this. But this is the importance of this. It's got to be discussed, all right? Because Steve Harvey's career definitely went up after, okay, just a few months after his death, Steve Harvey started to go up, all right? Now, the next person I'm going to talk about is going to be Lamont Bentley. All right, most people know Lamont Bentley as Hakeem from the Moesha show, right? But he's done a lot of other things, such as the MC Hammer movie. He played in Tales from the Hood. He was in a lot of movies, like involved in Hollywood. Now, what I found so suspicious about a lot of these actors, right, is when their career downslides, right, even when it takes a downslide, you know, it's always something that they just go off the deep end, or something happens. You know what I mean? And I find this to be strange because Hollywood can paint the narrative to say whatever. Oh, he might have been depressed because he wasn't getting any roles. Now, Lamont Bentley, who played Hakeem, that we all know on the Moesha show, died in a car crash, okay? So the story goes that in January 2005, he drove off the ramp off of a highway and crashed into a fence. When he crashed into a fence, he was ejected from the vehicle. Now, with him being ejected from the vehicle, this allowed 5 cars to run him over, his body over.
Played on City Guys, was shot down the street from us when we were doing Moesha on Gower. He played Sweetness in Roll Bounce, if y'all don't know who I'm talking about. Great dude, like my brother as well. Another big homie I got in the acting game. And he called me that morning. It was just an unbelievable phone call, you know. Broke a lot of our hearts. Lamont was just such a high energy person. Can't really replace. So rest in peace to him. We lost Yvette, we lost Merlin Santana, who played old Haji. We lost Bernie Mac, who played my uncle. So yeah, we lost a couple people, man, but that's life. You know, I realized life comes with loss of people, because we're not forever to be in these bodies, you know. So the fact that we got to capsule their energies in a time on TV, I'll never be able to forget those people, those memories I have with them. I learned a lot from them. Yvette Wilson was a great person. She just was a really nice lady, like when you talk about like a wild card on the set that was necessary, Yvette. She, like her character on Moesha, I feel like she was that, but more, she was like, the character Andell was like a African-eccentric lady. She was more like just the real thing, like just a real chick, you know. She come from the comedy. Y'all know like how she snatch her wig off in Friday? That energy, but not in a bad way, just like really just real, raw, you know. She was.
When I see stuff like this now, I'm just gonna be honest with y'all, you know, and from what I understand, him and Brandy had a really close relationship, right? Now, some people may pin this on Brandy and say, yo, Brandy may have sacrificed, you know, this young man or whatever, even though he wasn't really on the show up until afterwards, right? But he had a lot of Hollywood ties. So we don't know who may have been involved in this, but, you know, somebody reaped the benefits. I'm not gonna put it on Brandy or Snoop Dogg, all right? But, you know, some people have said that he was, you know, that story didn't seem right. Like he was in great spirits, you know what I mean? So why would he just drive off a ramp and, you know, decide to kill himself, you know? Now, you know, Hollywood and the media will have their way of doing things and saying things and steering a narrative to say, oh, you know, he was just going through stuff, like I said, you know, but ironically, that wouldn't make any sense because, you know, he was in good spirits. Like he was out there, you know, still working. It wasn't like he didn't have any, you know, he was doing D-list movies, but he was still working. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of feel like that was a little strange, you know what I mean? Like it didn't make any sense to me, you know? So maybe Brandy did reap the benefits because her career also, you know, it's stagnant now. She's probably due. And then you got to also think she also took a life as well by way of killing somebody drunk driving, right? So you know, it's a lot with that situation. So, you know, I think that he had, you know, somebody, you know, putting something, you know, on him, if that makes sense. Now, this next person I'm going to talk about is going to be Michelle Thomas. Now, we all know Michelle Thomas from being Myra on the television show Family Matters, right? She played as Steve Urkel's girlfriend. Now, this one a little hit home because she was fine to me, man. I always had a crush on her. And then after she did the Family Matters show, she was casted on The Young and Restless and Malcolm and Eddie. Small parts, though. But her main role was in Family Matters. That's what we all know her for. Right now, her situation is a little strange. And I believe she might have ate something and it caused this to happen, but this was a very, very strange situation. Now, she stayed to herself in Hollywood. She didn't have too many friends besides Malcolm Jamal Warner. That was like, they grew up together, basically. So they were really close friends. Now, what I will say is, like I said, I feel like somebody had fed her something because in August of 1998, she was diagnosed with cancer. Okay, and they had found a lemon size. It was small at first, but then a lemon sized tumor had grew in her abdominal intestines. Now, in just a short period of time, from August up until November, by December, she was dead. You know what I'm saying? So that, and just in a matter of a few months, like this is why I said I feel like somebody had gave her something to eat, or she may have been poisoned, because her mother said, right, her mother out of her own mother's mouth said that her daughter, Michelle Thomas, was a vegetarian. She didn't drink, she didn't smoke, she didn't indulge in any of that stuff. So how did she just get this random tumor that came out of nowhere, right? Now, I
remember even for a while she worked as a waitress, and she would work way out, like Palmdale, because she didn't want anybody in LA seeing her. Have to wait tables. And then obviously she got stomach cancer, and my mom really helped her tremendously as much as she could, but it was just too far along. Anytime I mention Michelle Thomas, there's a certain amount of innocence. I'm just taken back to, Michelle had a lot of opportunities to sell her soul to the devil, to start climbing a little faster. And she just...
Now, people like Jaleel White have spoken out about Michelle Thomas, and I personally wouldn't say that, Jaleel White sacrificed her, because his career hasn't really went, further. He's out here selling weed now, you know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't put that on him, but like I said, with her going to the Young and the Restless, and maybe somebody over there benefited from this. You get what I'm saying? It doesn't always have to be Oh, you know, the longest place that she stayed or whatever the case may be, or whatever show she was on that we know her from, Steve Urkel sacrificed her. Nah, I wouldn't say that. Maybe she went over to The Young and the Restless, and those people over there on ABC, one of them actors, you know, befriended her and you know, told her to eat something and she ate it, and then now next thing you know, yeah, I did it. I took her out. Now their career went off the charts. You get what I'm saying? So it's certain things like that. Maybe a producer or, you know, the directors of the show. It's always somebody behind the scenes that you can't point the finger at. You get what I'm saying? Because a lot of these deaths that I spoke about are very mysterious. Very, very mysterious. And then when you're looking at it on the news or whatever, there's nobody to blame. Oh, they was last with them, so it must have been them. You get what I'm saying? It's all, you know, designed that way. So I really, truly, you know, think that people that are involved in Hollywood, when we seeing these people die on these TV shows, it's kind of sketchy, especially black actors. It's like, okay, this woman was a vegetarian. She didn't drink or smoke. How do you just get cancer in your intestines and a tumor just starts growing? Okay? She ate something that was bad. That's what I'm going with. And somebody in Hollywood reaped the benefits from that. Because these are things that just don't make sense to me. All right, so with that being said, y'all, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I gave a little context on it, man, and I hope y'all, I got some more work for y'all. Going to talk about a few things y'all asked me to talk about. You know what I'm saying? Know y'all been asking for Capital Steez, so I'm going to get to that next. All right, peace.